Hey, this is Noltzer, and we are doing Untitled. This week, 0.6.2 drops, and I want to make sure that you are as prepared as you possibly can be. North Americans, you can't be prepared. It's already out. Sorry. Or it should be. But everyone else, absolutely. I will prepare you. Make sure you are 100% on the down low with this stuff. Tell you what's coming, how to make sure you can maximize your profits, and commanders, all that stuff. I think it's important. Also, I want to talk about a place I went this weekend. I went to NASA Space Center. Now, I've been there many times. I'm from Houston, so it's not a big deal. But it is cool what they've added since I was last there, and I was last there about 2 years ago. And finally, I went to see a movie, Logan, at a dinner and a movie sort of deal, and I just want to talk about my experience with it. I'm not going to spoil anything about the movies. You basically get a very, very, very neutered, how's the movie? How was the movie for you? It was great. And that's pretty much how far I take it. So, 0.6.2, huh? 0.6.2. It's coming, or it has been cummed. Okay, that was wrong. I apologize. I didn't mean for it to come out that way. Either way, what is 0.6.2 exactly going to be doing for me now, sir? Well, it's going to be buffing the Soviet destroyers because we all know it needed it. I don't know why they're doing a global buff for Soviet gun damage. I really don't know. Also, it's going to be adding Soviet destroyers, if you didn't know. That's pretty cool. I think that it's very cool, in fact, that new content is coming. Some of you might be going, oh, it's not a lot of new content. It's only a couple new things. Well, couple is better than nothing, okay? In World of Warcraft, it's kind of legendary for this. There was a patch in Warlords of Draenor about, 2 or 3 years ago. It came out about a month after the release of the expansion, and it allowed you, no joke, I'm not lying, it allowed you the ability to tweet out an image of something going on your screen. And I believe it also added a selfie camera. Yeah. So, when you complain that you're getting 3 ships, or any number of things, remember the selfie cam, because that was awful. That was terrible. I will never forget that. I will never forget that, Blizzard. But, so we've got a couple new ships, obviously, and a couple ships are moving around, which is cool, it's cool. Cool, baby, cool. The alternative branch is going to allow you to use defensive fire. That's pretty much the thing they do. And there's a couple other things from it, but that's generally what's going to happen. They are also going to be adding a couple changes in the form of, what is it? I'm trying to look. There's 2 new maps, Ring and Haven. Ring is mid-tier, Haven is mid to late tier. Be interested to see that. There is a couple redesigned ports, which is interesting. Hawaii was completely redesigned. And that's pretty cool. A couple ships were upgraded, I believe. They're making the ship's rigging much better. We have the Imperata Nikolai Pierwi, which is obviously the Nikolai. You're not going to see that. There's very few who own it, but it'll be nice to see. A little improvement. Arkansas Beta. Again, another ship with a limited... These are like ships that no one has. Awaki Alpha. I don't have that one even. U-Buddy. And then the Ishizuchi. These are all getting a couple improvements for the rigging. So that'll be nice. And as far as it, let's just get it out of the way. So the Soviet destroyers, they will be improving in their overall power. I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, I don't know about this. I think it is a mistake. But that's because I can use the Soviet destroyers effectively and rack up a ton of damage. I have pretty crappy commanders, except for my Hubadovsk. And my Hubadovsk is a beast. easily, easily does 100,000 every game, or very nearly. And that's not even the torpedoes. I got 10-kilometer range torpedoes on top of that. It's just ridiculous. I don't know why they're buffing HE. It's going from 1600 to 1900 on pretty much all the Soviet destroyers. To be fair though, this is what it was before they nerfed it, and I'm very suspicious. I think they nerfed it because the Kiev was very, very powerful. Extremely powerful at tier 7. So that was along with a bunch of changes, but that's a significant change, right? 300 damage is significant, just straight up for free. So we'll see how it works out. I think the Soviet be in for hell. If you don't like fighting Soviet destroyers, well, 6.2 is going to be a bad patch for you. If you love playing them, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. But get used to fighting them because you're going to see a lot of them. The Indianapolis is getting buffed. Improved rate of fire. Not really something that's going to make it completely awesome. The rate of fire buff is very tiny, so I expect the Indianapolis to remain in the same area. So, what should you do going into the patch? Absolutely the last minute thing. Make sure you have, if you can, tiers 5 through 9 purchased in the Soviet destroyer line. Also, make sure that there is a commander associated with each of those ships. Alright? Now, for me personally, I'm going to try and make sure that my commanders are at least the threshold that they recommend, or what they will be giving. So what's going to happen is, if I have an Udaloy, and I have a 11 skill Udaloy commander, just an example, just coming somewhere, maybe at the top of my head, or maybe actually in the last game I just posted, or the next game I will be posting, it is going to be receiving a commander as it moves to the alternative line. And this is going to be a commander that is not the current commander. You think of your commanders as associated with the tier. So the Udaloy right now represents the tier 9 in the main Soviet line. So what I'm going to be getting, that 11 skill commander, is going to be transferred to the tier 9 in the Soviet destroyer line, which will be the Tashkent in 0.6.2. I believe that's free of charge. And then I will be receiving a 9 skill commander for the Udaloy in the new tier 9 alternative slot. I think the most basic way you can look at this is it's a chance to double your income if you buy them. Because you're going to get ships. You're going to get lots of ships if you have them all. You really will be getting a lot of ships. I will be getting the tier 5, the tier 6, the tier 7, the tier 8, the tier 9. I will also be getting a lot of compensation because I already have the tier 5, the tier 6, the tier 7, the tier 8, and the tier 9. That's pretty awesome. Also, I'm going to be doubling my commanders for pretty much every single one because I made that a priority. So, in the future, I can have commanders for pretty much everything Soviet for a while, and that's just what you have to do. Take advantage of these little changeovers. They don't happen often. Wargaming have said they do not like doing it. It's just a necessary part of the game. So I am definitely going to be taking advantage of it. 100%. I'm even going to be having the modules, the half-off modules, sitting in the ship. So when they sell, I'm going to be getting them back. There's sort of a weird storage. I'm trying to buy up all the half-price modules so I can, save money. But you can't really buy half-price modules in a safe format. You either got to buy a cheap ship, which then you can't get to the high-tier stuff, and sell it, and they'll just be dumped out. You won't have to pay for demounting costs, or you use doubloons to demount. I'm not going to do that. So this is the next best thing. Have all the module slots filled out for the Soviet destroyers, and they should demount automatically because technically, and I'm doing this Dr. Evil quote, technically, you do not have the new Udaloy. You do not have the new Tashkent. You are merely reserving the right to have the Tier 8 mainline Soviet destroyer, the Tier 7 mainline Soviet destroyer, And for a lot of that, it's moving completely, so it can't stick. So that's what you want to try and do. Now, let's talk about NASA. NASA's cool. Now, I've been to NASA. I've seen the Saturn V rocket. They have a full-scale, and I do mean full-scale, Saturn V rocket sitting in a hangar or a barn or something like that. It's unbelievable to see something that big. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's really fun. I've seen it before, though, so let's get to the part that I haven't seen. Now, they moved the space shuttle. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the space shuttle. They use a 747, or they did. And that 747, or one of the 747s, is on the premises of NASA Space Center. And it is a exhibit that you can see. So you get to learn about how they got it. It was just an American Airlines aircraft that they basically bought from American Airlines. My government would never do that today. They would build a purpose-built solution. It would be way over budget, and it wouldn't really fulfill the role. That's what would happen. We know that. But not back then. It was just an American Airlines commercial flight. They heavily modified 2/3 of the hull, where they dropped everything, and I do mean everything. They stripped everything out of it for weight saving. 1/3 of the passenger compartment remained, but they took out the insulation. So it was cold. That's not a fun flight, being cold on a flight. But the basic idea is the 747 is to transport the space shuttle from California to Florida to be sent back up with Kennedy Space Center. And it's great. It's great. It's really cool. You get to go into a mock-up space shuttle and how it's mounted onto the ship itself. You get to see a basic idea of the, where the shuttle would be designed, the great big hangar doors or whatever. It's really impressive to see in person. It's a full size. They show you how they got it to NASA Space Center, which wasn't easy. 747 is a pretty big aircraft. So it's really cool. It's really cool to see that sort of history, especially as an American, as a Houstonian, and as someone who loves space. If you're one of those three, you should go see this stuff and nerd out like I did. So it's all thing, whatever. So Logan, movie, dinner. The dinner was all right. I can only imagine how hard it is to make a lot of food for a movie theater. I don't know if this exists everywhere. I'm sure it does because it's just free money. But that's a lot of servers, a lot of cooking, and some of my items, they were not as well as I would have liked. Oh well, right? That's just the way it works. But the movie itself, Logan, brutal. They spent a long time developing the characters. I appreciate that immensely. I think movies move too fast, where you're supposed to just get every part of the character already. So you really felt for the characters at the end. I'm not going to spoil anything about the movie. I enjoyed it. I have not seen an X-Men since X3, and that was partly because I was disappointed. I was not disappointed in this movie. The only thing I'll say from that standpoint is I think they try and make things a little bit too crazy, like punches feeling like a bomb's going off or something like that. It really detracts from just the story itself. It just feels so... I would just like the natural audio of the moment, more so than something that was just amped up to an 11, right? That's the only thing that really is like, it feels so Hollywood. But you'll see how brutal it is if you have any interest in seeing it. I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.